Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Sunday marks the 21st anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Today, a memorial was created at Elmira College to honor the lives lost during that tragedy. Big Fox's Maggie Hall has more.
This morning, Elmira College faculty and students were joined by Elmira Police and Fire to place the 2,977 flags that you see behind me, one for each of the lives lost in 9/11.
So what this represents, at 8:46 on September 11th of 2001, the first airplane struck the World Trade Center.
After a moment of silence at 8:46, the flag placing began. One of the flags represents the life of an Elmira College student.
Having this at Elmira College, we did have a student who was affected by the 9/11, that passed away during 9/11. So I thought that it's not to honor his life, but everyone's life that were lost on that day.
David Lee shared with me what the memorial meant to him.
I like to give honor, motivations to life lost. So as a military child, it's kind of my duty.
Anthony Aficio remembers seeing the first tower from his high school's window.
So I was on the third floor that day in my English class, and you can see the first tower billowing and the whole nine, and it was a really crazy day for all of us. We ended up evacuating our high school. As far as being a part of this today, it really does mean a lot to me. I was directly affected by, a lot of what happened that day.
To see the flag memorial, you can drive or walk right along Park Place in Elmira. The memorial stands for lives lost in a tragedy that the world will never forget. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Elmira.
A 35-year-old man arrested for attempted murder in Bath. According to the Bath Police Department, officers responded to a stabbing incident at 5:30 Thursday morning. The 32-year-old victim had been slashed with a knife and taken to Ira Davenport Hospital. The suspect, Herbert Wood, was later located and arrested at a Tops supermarket at 6:30 Thursday evening. Wood was taken to Steuben County Arraignment Court. Corning Inc. opened a new fiber optic plant. The plant is located near Warsaw, Poland. Corning is also expanding its manufacturing capacity in the United States. Corning is set to open a new plant in Phoenix, Arizona. Wendell Weeks, Corning's CEO, said the new facility will ensure Corning can continue to support their customers in Europe and beyond. King Charles III arrived at Buckingham Palace for the first time as Britain's monarch. He begins his reign as the world remembers Queen Elizabeth II. Lauren Blanchard is in London with more.
King Charles III paid tribute to his mother, Queen Elizabeth, in his first address as monarch.
Throughout her life, Her Majesty the Queen, my beloved mother, was an inspiration, an example to me and to all my family.
The king promised to serve his nation faithfully.
I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love.
Earlier, he arrived at Buckingham Palace to a sea of well-wishers. Queen Elizabeth II was 96 years old when she died yesterday at Balmoral Castle, her summer home in Scotland. Across the UK, gun salutes were fired Friday to honor Britain's longest reigning monarch. While the Queen remains in Scotland, many are coming here to her primary residence, Windsor Castle, to pay their respects. They are leaving flowers, notes, and looking back very fondly on their Queen.
We knew this day would come, but I think it's just hit everybody as a nation like a bolt of lightning, really. We feel as though we've lost our own grandmother.
Funeral details have not yet been announced. It is known there will be a public viewing in Scotland before the Queen is flown to London. She will lie in state in Westminster Hall for 4 days, where hundreds of thousands of people are expected to file past her closed casket. A procession will escort her body to Westminster Abbey nearby for the funeral. The coronation of King Charles III is not expected for several months. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Windsor, England.
A Powerball ticket worth $50,000 was sold in Steuben County this week. The ticket was purchased at the Ranch grocery store in Bradford. It was one of 2 in the state that won in the drawing on September 7th. The Powerball drawing airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 11 p.m. Most of us have heard of bingo, but now how about drive-in bingo? The Chemung County Department of Aging will host a drive-in bingo event for seniors. The event will be on September 23rd at the Chemung County Fairgrounds. Bingo is scheduled to start at 1 p.m. and registration is required. To join in on the bingo fun, you can register by calling the number on your screen. Ukrainian President Zelensky is championing hundreds of square miles that are being newly liberated by his army. Jeff Paul has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
Ukraine is fighting back, a major counteroffensive escalating this week as the Ukrainian military slowly retakes territory from Russian forces. The fighting mostly focused in the northeast. Ukrainian officials claiming success in liberating parts of the Kharkiv region after a separate counteroffensive in the south forced Moscow to shift some of its forces away from the area.
It's a very deliberate offensive attack. They are setting conditions with fires in order to set conditions for ground maneuver to accomplish the objectives that they set out.
The progress comes as the U.S. accelerates its aid. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visiting Kyiv this week, announcing $2 billion in new military financing for Ukraine and its neighbors. And that's on top of a different $675 million package of heavy weapons and ammo from the Pentagon.
We were able to reaffirm our strong support for Ukraine, our determination that Ukraine emerge sovereign, independent, democratic, and even stronger than before.
Officials here say they're hoping to sustain their momentum on the ground, but it won't be easy. Especially with the weather getting colder and supplies running low in many frontline areas.
The winter is going to be hard on the battlefield in Ukraine. They are in urgent need for more winter uniforms, for generators.
Fighting is also intensifying near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is the biggest in Europe. Both sides blaming each other as the UN warns of a possible catastrophe. In Kyiv, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Your complete weekend forecast is next. Plus, still to come, a store in New Jersey says customers poured in with mixed emotions buying up memorabilia as they mourned the Queen's passing. That story coming up. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm meteorologist Sam Ryan, heating things up out there as we look back over the last 5 days. We started off a little cooler Tuesday, 69, 72. Of course, a lot of that because of the rain. 78 Thursday, 79 Friday. We're going to have a dry Saturday in store for us. And it'll be rather comfortable out there with the humidity levels kind of in those upper 50s, close to 60, maybe some lower 60s at times. So you'll feel some of the humidity, and then storms arriving. Rain, few embedded thunderstorms beginning Sunday night, continuing through the day on Monday, and slowly exiting early on Tuesday. Now there's potential here, all things said and done, we could have an inch or more of rainfall. Watching the forecast model, there's really not much to show you here to kick things off because we're only going to go into Sunday. I see a lot of that rain will stay down to our south. Here we are Saturday night and into the day Sunday, getting some of those showers and storms. As far as rainfall amounts, some of the computer models coming in right now, not showing a whole lot. Again, once this gets updated, I think it'll start to show a whole lot more. Putting things all together, though, Monday, I think, is going to be the bulk of our rainfall across the area. By the way, a near full moon heading into the overnight, waking up Saturday morning, a chance of some patchy fog, 6 a.m., 55 degrees at 6 a.m. And as we go through the day, we'll see those morning temperatures kicking things off in those middle 50s. And a beautiful afternoon in store for us with those temperatures warming up to near 76, upper 70s here by noon, and temperatures around 80 to 83 degrees. See low 80s around the region here for high temperatures Saturday. The average is 77, so just above that for our area. Sunrise occurs at 6:42, sunset at 7:25 in the evening. As we look ahead into the dew point temperature, that measure of moisture, 57 again Saturday, and it starts to climb up as we get a lot of that rainfall in here Sunday, Monday, and into early Tuesday. So high Sunday due to the extra cloud cover on the way and some of those showers arriving will be around 74, 75 degrees. Again, average is 77, so we cool down underneath those clouds, underneath some of those showers, but still kind of humid out here until about Thursday, Friday. Some of that humidity will finally begin to exit. So looking once again, 7-day, 83, partly cloudy skies Saturday afternoon, down to 60 Saturday night, a full moon, and then Sunday, scattered showers, 75, isolated showers here Monday. I think we'll get the bulk of the rainfall, though, Monday and into Tuesday. We may see some of those push off even into Wednesday. Overnight lows a little bit warmer, around 60 degrees, and then it kind of cools down a little bit more heading into the following weekend.
People and dignitaries across the globe are mourning the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. In New Jersey, an English gift shop says they're seeing a rush of people coming in to buy memorabilia of the Queen. Shawnette Wilson has more.
Many people poured into this store behind me earlier today with mixed emotion, hoping to get their hands on anything to remember the Queen.
Our customers have been very sad too.
Gary Coleman walks me through his Haddonfield store, the English Gardner gift shop.
The Platinum Jubilee, and the people are coming in and grabbing these. We sold quite a few of these today. Anything with her.
He says customers saddened by the passing of Queen Elizabeth II are buying up memorabilia to remember her.
The Union Jack flag, St. George's Cross is the flag that will probably be out there for the funeral, because that's the national flag.
And he says they're buying food for watching nonstop coverage of her life and eventually the Queen's televised funeral.
We have clotted cream in the refrigerator. Any of the biscuits sell for like a high tea.
Coleman opened the store 16 years ago. He was born in England.
I'm 69, so I was born the year that she was queen. So that's the only queen I've known my entire life, and to kind of have it just like end today was kind of sudden.
Across Kings Highway, people dined outside the British chip shop. Philip Haxby Thompson stopped out front.
Yeah, I do. I feel a bit disconnected from it. I wish I was there with my family and friends right now.
He plans to watch TV coverage and toast to the Queen's 70 years of achievements as the longest-serving monarch.
And having a pint in her honor.
Many I talked to also recalled how the Queen has been an institution for decades, and they say she was just extremely beloved. In Haddonfield, Shawnette Wilson, Fox 29 News.
Burberry cancels its Fashion Week plans. Tesla may branch out to the Gulf Coast, and Princeton unveils a new program to help with tuition. CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Business Briefs.
British luxury brand Burberry cancels its London Fashion Week show following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. The show, featuring its spring-summer collection, was scheduled for September 17th. It has now been scrapped as the UK says goodbye to their longest-serving monarch. In June, Twitter reportedly agreed to pay its whistleblower Peter Zatko $7 million as part of a settlement agreement over unpaid wages. The deal came before Zatko filed a whistleblower complaint alleging the company is misleading the public on its security plan. Zatko is Twitter's former head of security. His claims will be part of Elon Musk's countersuit against Twitter, which sued Musk for backing out of his Twitter takeover deal earlier this year. Tesla may open a new lithium refinery in the Gulf Coast. That's according to an application filed with the Texas Comptroller's Office. A decision to invest will be based on how much tax relief the company gets. If approved, construction could start by the end of the year. Princeton University is giving undergraduate students from families earning less than $100,000 a year a free ride. It's all thanks to donations that will fund a new financial aid program launching in the fall of 2023. The program will pay tuition and room and board for all eligible students. Without financial aid, attending the Ivy League school costs more than $79,000. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Still ahead, a warning about a potential safety risk for some sleep therapy masks. That story and more coming up. After months of an eerily quiet season, a hurricane and a tropical storm are now in the Atlantic. While neither of those storms are currently heading toward the U.S., emergency officials say those in the Gulf South should still prepare for what could come later this season. Rebecca Castor has the story.
While many in New Orleans might be breathing a sigh of relief right now, making it through 2 months of hurricane season without any storms, it's definitely too early to let your guard down. Emergency officials here are preparing to help families who can't evacuate due to tighter budgets and inflation.
One storm can change the entire dynamic of this hurricane season. Finances should not be the reason to not prepare.
In a hurricane season where more families are strapped for cash because of record high inflation, New Orleans Emergency Preparedness Director says storm supplies should not be what gets cut from your budget.
We know there's a little bit of a burden with the economy and inflation right now, but people need to gather as many supplies as they can to try and be self-sustaining for about 72 hours or 3 days.
Of course, when you go to the store, expect these supplies to be more expensive. For instance, here, 2 large cases of water are going to cost you about $15. And then your non-perishables like granola bars and crackers are about $6 a box. And then a decent flashlight and a couple dozen extra batteries could cost you over $30. AAA also recommends putting aside at least $1,500 in case you need to evacuate.
It's just absolutely more expensive to evacuate this year than it was in previous years.
Take evacuating to Houston, for example. In 2021, a round trip from New Orleans to Houston cost about $85 in gas. Now it's closer to $133. Your hotel stay will be more expensive too. Last year, prices were near $265 a night. Today, you'd pay closer to $282.
I think families really have to prepare for that. Certainly by Cat 3 and above, my advice is to evacuate.
But with a slower start this season, families have even more time to prepare.
We may only be to Earl right now or to E, but it's a little bit early right now to start waving victory flags.
Now, both storms in the Atlantic are expected to dissipate before reaching the U.S., but if this trend continues, this will be the 4th quietest hurricane season in the last century. In New Orleans, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A new report says inflation has not only adjusted regular living, but it's changed holiday seasonal shopping as well. The report by financial services company Bankrate.com says that half of holiday shoppers will not wait for Thanksgiving this year. They'll be buying by October 31st. 2 in 5 say that inflation is impacting those shopping decisions. Many shoppers are starting even earlier. 11% of holiday shoppers say they'll get a jump start this month, and 18% say they'll start in October. 59% say they'll buy fewer items. More than 2,400 people took part in the survey. Some patients are finding it hard to fill their Adderall prescriptions. Consumers in pharmacies across the nation are reporting a shortage of the drug commonly used to treat people with attention deficit disorder. One expert from Rush University Medical Center in Chicago says the shortage is starting to scare some patients, especially during this back-to-school season. He believes the scarcity is due in part to higher demand, abuse of the medication, and FDA limits.
Patients can't get their medicines, and we get a lot of phone calls, so it's a lot of extra work, and the patient has to call around the pharmacies or look and see where there is a supply.
The FDA is not currently sounding the alarm on an Adderall shortage, and experts remind patients to continue filling their prescriptions at licensed pharmacies and with medical professionals only. Philips Respironics is warning users of certain sleep therapy masks about a potential safety risk. The company is recalling 5 of its sleep mask types worn by people who use BiPAP or CPAP machines. The sleep masks affected are DreamWisp, AmaraView, DreamWear, Wisp and Wisp Youth masks, and Therapy Mask 3100. The masks have magnets that could interfere with the functioning of certain implanted metallic medical devices, and this could cause injury or even death. Users should check with medical providers, the Philips website, and the FDA.gov pages for more information. Stay with us. We'll have more right after the break. We want to leave you with a smile. Monday is National Chocolate Milkshake Day, and to celebrate, you might want to head to the International House of Pancakes. IHOP is bringing back Milkshake Monday for a second year. Customers can get a buy one, get one free deal on any flavored shake from noon until 8 p.m. But to score the deal, you do have to dine in at the restaurant. IHOP says it will donate $1 from the sale of all milkshakes up to $500,000 to Comedy Gives Back. That's a nonprofit that helps comedians when they're in need. I'm Scott Beadle. Thank you so much for watching.